session today for our community check-in. Today we are partnering with Waffle House for our community check-in, in which you will learn everything you need to know about unemployment. Jessica ElGamil with an MPA will be hosting this wonderful webinar. Jessica has served thousands of New Jersey residents within a multitude of social services agencies throughout the state for the last 15 years, from being a social worker at DCPP to her current role working in vocational rehabilitation. She has developed a strong connection within the community. Through her roles, she has been able to provide individuals with much-needed resources to some of the most underprivileged residents in our community. So if you guys during this webinar, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, in the chat, on Instagram as well in the chat, and we will get to them when she's done. So, Jessica, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Waffle House, for including me in your community resources. I have had the opportunity to Waffle House in the last 2 weeks to talk about unemployment and the stimulus check. The stimulus checks were dispersed around March, and currently everybody received their stimulus check. Shortly after that, we were discussing unemployment and unemployment extension. We were hoping that by this time we would be able to we were hoping that we were going to talk more about unemployment extensions and the second stimulus package, but unfortunately it hasn't been approved yet. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the current unemployment insurance through the state of New Jersey and the pandemic federal insurance that has been dispersed since early April. Many people have been receiving the unemployment insurance through the state. And if they qualified through pandemic insurance, they were also receiving the extra $600 a week, which has been extremely helpful to a lot of New Jersey residents, and I'm sure nationwide. Right now, we're looking at the end of July, July 25th, as the cutoff date for the pandemic federal insurance, which was the $600 a week. And a lot of people are asking what's going to happen after that. We're hoping to see an extension of the federal pandemic insurance, as well as extension of more resources and assistance within the state of New Jersey. Many people know that Governor Murphy has appropriated funds to different small business organizations to help with the offset of costs that people have incurred having not been working for a very long time, 3, 4, 5 months. So we're hoping to see more resources come in the next few weeks between now and the 25th. There are a couple of new resources that have come up, which are actually being implemented in the next couple of days, and I'm really excited to talk about it. Before I talk about it, I just wanted to share with you guys a lot of questions that people had regarding who's actually eligible in regards to the current unemployment, which has been expanded. Many people know that the requirement and eligibility to receive unemployment through the state has to meet two or three things. Number one, you have to have a W-2, right? You have to have a W-2 and work for a company that you could technically receive unemployment insurance from in the past. That's not the case with the current expanded Unemployment CARES Act. It actually covers people who get paid cash. It covers people who were self-employed, small business owners, and people who not necessarily even claimed income over the years. For example, babysitters. For example, people who were getting paid cash, construction workers, nannies. I mentioned babysitters. But any job out there that you could say, hey, I always received cash. I was a waitress. All of my income was cash. The good thing about this current unemployment package is you can file as a self-employed individual and receive unemployment insurance as a self-employed person, and you self-certify your own income. You identify how much income you were earning, and then you can self-certify. So that's one of the amazing and really benefits of this new expanded unemployment through the pandemic, through the state. Do you have any questions about the current package for unemployment?
Let me just double check to see if anybody has questions in the chat, and then we'll go from there. Sorry, guys. Okay, so one question that I have about this package in particular is if someone doesn't feel safe going back to work because of the pandemic, are there any protections in this unemployment package for that? So even if their jobs open back up, will they be able to continue to file for unemployment for safety issues?
That's a great question. A lot of people have concerns about that. And not only do they have concerns about their own health, but also what do they do with their kids who are currently home with no place to go, right? That's a big question. How can I work when my kids are home? And a lot of people's kids have been home for a long time, and there really is no place for them to go right now. Summer camps have been canceled. Daycares are slowly reopening, but what about the kids that don't qualify for daycares? So there's actually an opportunity for people to be able to be eligible for this current unemployment package for two things. One, you don't feel comfortable going because your fear of contracting the disease, the infection, right? You also have an option to be covered through this package if you are the primary caregiver for a child and your child is home and you cannot return to work. This is something, completely related to COVID. This is not something that you would see on the traditional state unemployment package. The COVID Unemployment Act covers people who are afraid to go back to work because of COVID, cannot go back to work because they are physically sick, have been exposed and are under quarantine, and also for their children, they're primary caregivers for their children, and they cannot return to work because of that. There's also an option for people who have to care for somebody who has COVID. Okay, so these are all covered under the eligibility requirements for unemployment. Now, let's say hypothetically your job opened and they asked you to return and you did return and you get sick. There's a expanded Family Medical Leave Act. Many people know about it as FMLA, and many people use it when they go on maternity leave. This FMLA expansion is covering you for 2 weeks of sick time. You would be able to be eligible for 2 weeks of sick time from your employer. As long as your employer has less than 200 employees, they would be covered. They would have to pay you for 2 weeks of sick time if you are in fact sick with COVID, and 6 weeks after that, unpaid job protection. So that's under the FMLA coverage, which is it's not unemployment, but it's FMLA, it's kind of like disability.
Sorry, just going back to a point you made earlier. You said if you're caring for someone with COVID, you also can apply for or qualify for this package. What would the state ask you in terms of proving that or kind of evidencing that?
So the good thing about this new package is it's not asking for a lot of supporting evidence. It's not asking for a lot of proof. This is considered like an honor system. What is an honor system? Honor system is I'm self-employed and I make X amount of dollars, and I'm certifying that I do make that money, and I'm also certifying that I'm not earning any income. Okay, when you're self-employed, there's nobody that they can call and say, did Jessica go to work today? Is your company shut down because of COVID? It's an honor system. When you certify, you're certifying that what you're saying is true, and it's considered fraud if you lie. If you have COVID and you've been diagnosed, or if you're on a quarantine, or if you're caring for somebody who has COVID, or if your kids are home, again, that's an honor system. Nobody's going to come to your house and check and see if you even have kids. This is an honor system, but know that these resources aren't forever. This is for a really, truly emergency. It's for people who really need the services. I don't think people are taking advantage because honestly, this is a true pandemic. So many people have been affected. And considering that it's an honor system, I know because I've been doing this for 4 months straight, day in and day out. I've been talking to people that are petrified to write the wrong thing, to choose the wrong button because they don't want to get in trouble, and qualify for something that they are not eligible for. For for the most part, people are so cautious. And one of the things that I want to mention is if you do get called back to work, but you are getting called back part-time, you can still receive your unemployment benefits. You would just certify that you did go back to work, and then they're going to ask you how much time have you gone back to work? How much did you earn this week? So you'd be now considered under the bracket of partial unemployment. You could still receive your benefits as long as your income from your job is less than the approved benefit amount in your unemployment package. So I'll just give you an example. Let's say you're earning $900 a week between the pandemic unemployment insurance and the state unemployment insurance, and you go back to work and you're working 2 days a week on a rotation. Okay. A lot of companies are slowly opening up. They're not completely open, but they're asking people to come in 1 day or 2 days a week on a rotation. Some people have even been furloughed. I don't know if you guys know, but the state of New Jersey, all employees at the state of New Jersey have been furloughed 50% of their time. So they would in fact be eligible for unemployment. They are still working part-time, but they're going to receive some unemployment benefits. It won't be a full amount, but it will be for partial. So if you're afraid that if I go back to work, I won't receive my unemployment anymore, go back to work. Just certify that you're back to work and you're earning an X amount of dollars. As long as it's less than your benefit amount that you're already receiving with unemployment, you will still continue to receive those benefits. So don't be afraid to go back to your job if you've been offered your job back. If you've been offered your job back and you really can't go back because of all the reasons that we talked about, then you are still eligible to receive unemployment. Keep in mind that $600 is expiring by the 25th of July. So it's not, as of right now, it has not been extended, but we're hoping it will be.
So we have a couple questions in the chat. The first one.
Okay, that's a great question. My question I would have to get a little bit more information from this person, and I can't see the chat, so you'll just have to tell me what their answers are. But did you continue to certify each week that you were getting paid by your job?
Sorry, the viewers on Facebook said they weren't able to hear the question, so I'm going to repeat the question so they know what you just answered. So she was talking about, we had asked, I was on unemployment, rehired, and then laid off. Do I need to reapply? So that was what her question had just gone into. So I have a question that a lot of people have been asking as well outside of this webinar. I applied for unemployment due to COVID, and I haven't heard back. What can I do next?
Okay, I just want to answer the first question. If you continue to certify each week, as long as you certified each week, your case should still be open. Unless you didn't certify for 2 weeks in a row, your case will be closed. Just go back in, log back in, and recertify. Try to recertify the dates that you were laid off. If the case is completely closed and you can't log back in, unfortunately, you will have to reapply. But my suggestion to everybody is don't stop certifying. You can still certify each week, but certify that you're working so that your case will remain open. And the second question that you have about I've applied and I haven't heard anything. How long ago did you apply? Because unfortunately, it's taking 6 to 8 weeks to even get approved. If you applied back in April and you haven't been approved, you did something wrong. Okay, you got to go back in there. You got to find out what's going on. If you applied 2 weeks ago, you got to hold tight. It's going to take some time. Just know that you will, once you do get approved, you will get back paid from the date of the application, not of the date that you've been unemployed. This is a big misconception. People have been saying, okay, am I getting back pay? Yes, you are getting back pay. But let's say you stopped working on April 1st and you waited until March 1st to apply. You're not going to get back paid for those 4 weeks. You're only going to get back paid for the time that you applied on March 1st. Let's say you don't get approved until June 1st. You will get paid for starting on the date that you applied, not when the date that you were unemployed. I haven't seen it. I've seen on the web, all the websites say, yes, you may get back pay for the time that you were unemployed, but the reality is I haven't seen it. I've only seen people getting paid for the date of the claim.
Another question concerning the stimulus package and college students. What are the special rules and exceptions for full-time college students?
Well, in regards to the stimulus package, you'd have to have filed your taxes within the last 2 years. If you didn't file your taxes in the last 2 years and you've been considered a dependent on your parents, this is a problem because people after the age of older than the age of 16 were not included in the stimulus package. That's going to be unfortunately you wouldn't have received that 500. Actually, as an adult, you'd get $1,200. But here's my suggestion. You can still go on to the IRS tax website and file a non-filers form to actually process it and see if you might be able to get that $1,200. Depending on if you filed your taxes, would determine really if you would qualify for that, because they use the last 2 years of the taxes to identify who is going to get that money for the kids. But if you're a college student and you're dependent on your parents, there's like a little bit of a breakdown there because 16 and up didn't get that $500.
Thank you so much. That's something I had to deal with, so that's why I asked.
Oh, so you're like, where's my money? It's nowhere, right?
Yeah, I didn't get any money this year. I've been out of school for a year now, but I assumed it had to do with taxes in the last year, so thank you for clarifying.
Have you filed in the last years?
Yeah, I have filed, but under my parents. So I was a dependent under them, and I think that's what happened. This is the first year I filed on my own.
Okay. When did you file?
I guess March. Okay. Early March, before the outbreak officially.
So if you missed the deadline that's the thing, you may have missed the deadline because they issued the checks like around January. Next year, when you file your taxes, you'll get that credit back. You'll get that $1,200 credit because technically this stimulus check is a credit on 2021.
Oh, awesome. Good to know. Okay. Thank you. So we have another question asked in the chat. What if unemployment is not enough? What can a person do?
Well, that's a great question. And I think that's a lot of a big concern and going to be really weighing on people's minds and really a burden for them when that $600 is going to be exhausted. So luckily, we live in a state with a lot of resources. Okay. Number one, we would have to break down what are the needs. You know, saying unemployment is not enough. We need more information. First thing you need to do is get connected with a community resource agency, like, for example, Waffle House. They work with all families who need assistance. They will be able to identify what kind of assistance you need, whether it be housing, whether it be food, whether it be legal, and financially. identify what can they do to help you, and if they can't help you, which other agencies in the community can they refer you to. My first suggestion is immediately, if the thought in your mind is that unemployment is not enough, the first thing you need to do is go on to your county Board of Social Service website. Every single county is processing all of the applications online. You do not need, sorry guys.
Maybe you should check on that. It might. Oh, okay. I want to make sure you're being safe, so don't let this webinar stop you from checking on it. So guys, while that's going on, I just want to clarify that if you were watching us on Facebook, Wafa House, their contact information is actually on the bottom of your screen. So like she said, if you feel like unemployment is not enough or you need more, you need any assistance, feel free to contact Wafa House and they will help you and help you navigate the system as best as possible.
All right, guys. So the second part to that, besides Waffle House, so Waffle House is an amazing agency. They will work with you guys to try to see what resources they can help you with. But not only that, know that each county has a Board of Social Services. That's your first stop. That is your first stop. They have all the resources that you need. Number one is they will be able to help you with housing, with emergency housing. If you have children, they do not want to see you and your children face homelessness. So they will offer you assistance, emergency assistance for housing, possibly rental assistance, even cash assistance or general aid. And then of course, everybody knows about it used to be called food stamps. It's called EBT SNAP program. The SNAP program is amazing now because not only do you get financial assistance for food, but starting July 8th, if anybody has a child that has received a free lunch in school, okay, anybody who has any kid who has a free lunch in school since this past school year will automatically receive, starting July 8th, a $400 credit on your SNAP card per child. Okay, so this is awesome. This is exciting. If you have 2 kids in school who haven't been in school, eating up everything in your fridge, like all of the kids do all year long, instead of because the schools weren't receiving that state aid from the county, they are going to actually replenish your SNAP card and give you that $400 per kid so that you can use that money that didn't go to the schools for the free school lunch. So that's an amazing program that's actually going to be, like I said, starting July 8th. I sent the resources and information to Waffle House. You guys can reach out to Waffle House. They have case managers who if at the very least, they will give you a list of the resources that I'm talking about today. They've got all the resources. Besides that, housing, starting in July as well, the state of New Jersey is going to be offering emergency rental assistance. Okay, this housing is a big issue in New Jersey, even before COVID. Okay, people with disabilities, people with special needs, people who are, I do want to mention that the most hard hit people in this pandemic were minorities, women of color. Why? Because they are disproportionately representing the jobs that have been closed and haven't been able to reopen. Waiters, waitresses, staff in daycare, staff, nannies, all these kids are home, people who worked in nail salons, hair salons. They've been hit disproportionately more than any other job. So I would say start looking for these resources to help with not only the food stamps, the SNAP benefits, package increase, but also the rental assistance. It's awesome. It's going to be awesome to help a lot of families that really need it.
We have another question.
I just saw something here that popped up. My dad filed April 12th, and every time we check the status, it says there's no file on claim. Every time I check, why is that? Well, unfortunately, the bad news is that means you didn't submit the claim. I know this is not the answer that you want to hear, but the claim did not go through. You have to file it again. April 12th, we're July 1st, guys. 6 weeks, you waited 6 weeks looking at a screen that says no file claimed. Unfortunately, you have to file again. If you see pending, that means you're in the process, you're in the queue. If you see file, that means you're in the queue. If you see no file claims, something you guys unfortunately didn't go through. You guys didn't do it right. I'm so sorry. And the bad news is you can't claim back to April 12th. You'll only be able to claim from the data of the file. Today, go back on there and refile. It says pending. Oh, it says, no, it said how much you should get. It says pending. Okay, pending is different than no claim filed. Pending means it's pending. It's still pending. You gotta wait. I'm sorry. Very sorry, but it's still pending.
Yeah, like you said earlier, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks, so they still have that 2-week buffer, right? If it's been 6 weeks. So unfortunately.
But the good news is you filed April 12th. You will get back paid from April 12th. Once you do get approved, the April 12th date will be when you actually start getting paid. Do not forget to certify. The biggest mistake that I see people is they say, oh, I've gotten approved. That's it. Yeah, I'm getting my money. No, that's not the last. This is just the beginning. You have to go in each week and you have to certify. What does that mean? They tell you there's a window. Mondays from 10 to 10 Thursday. Thursdays from 3 to 3:30, whatever your window is. It goes by the last 4 digits of your social. Guys, if you don't know how to do this, or if you are confused, Waffle House has counselors who will troubleshoot and tell you, even if it's in Arabic, they will help you. I cannot tell you how many people thought that just getting approved was the end of the line. No, you have to certify every week. How do I certify? Okay, you have to get approved first. It's not approved yet. Once it's approved, they'll send you an email that says you've been approved X amount of dollars. Through that process, they will tell you, starting on Sunday, for example, you have to certify, and they will tell you by your social, the last 4 digits of your social, you must certify during that window. So for example, you check the website, and if you need help, somebody will help. One of us will help you. It will tell you your window from Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 3 to 3:30, for example. You have to go into the website, that window. You only have 30 minutes. Don't miss it. They don't do 31 minutes. It's 30 minutes. That's it. And that's when you certify. You have to certify each week. Don't miss it. Can I message you privately? Reach out to Waffle House. Waffle House, all their information is on your agency, www.wafflehouse.org. Reach out to Waffle House. They will set you guys up with a counselor, a case manager who will work with you individually and help you with this.
Yeah, I agree. Message Waffle House, great resource, especially for our community, and they will offer any assistance in Arabic as well. So we have another question. It's kind of a big one, but maybe you can kind of go over and make it a little easier for us to understand. Can you walk us through the process of applying for unemployment from A to Z in the easiest way? I know it's probably very convoluted, but
okay, the first step is you need to go to the website, the NJ DOL website, and there's an option for apply for unemployment. The first step is you have to register. You have to actually register all your information, your name, your social, your address, your phone number, your email. You have to actually create a profile. Once you do that, there's going to be a little button on the right-hand corner that says file a claim. Then that's when the whole claim process starts. It's a long process. You need somebody who's going to be able to walk you through step by step. I have the resources. I've given everything to Waffle House to tell you. Question 1, choose this answer. Question 2, choose this answer. A lot of people disqualify themselves because they choose the wrong answer. Don't do that. Get somebody to help you. Don't lose the opportunity, because you'll be sitting there for weeks not knowing why is my file not Why is my claim not filed, or why was I not approved? If you don't get approved, if you get denied, you did something wrong. You need to reapply or appeal it. That's the whole
Awesome,
process.
thank you. And I guess, yeah, if you guys need any specialized assistance, again, you can reach out to Waffle House. And like she said, she gave them all her resources so they can walk you through it and help you with specific questions. So now we have one that has to do with the stimulus package. What if I lost my job before COVID or lost my job during COVID but not for COVID reasons? What happens? Am I eligible for the stimulus package?
Okay, guys. First of all, the stimulus package is this $1,200 that you got back in March. That has nothing to do with unemployment. So I think what they may be referring to is, do I qualify for unemployment, right? So they want to know, do they qualify for unemployment although they lost their job not due to COVID reasons?
It looks like they're asking about the extra $600.
Okay, that's only COVID. If you were lost your job because of COVID reasons, it has to be COVID. The $600 is COVID. That's it. If you lost your job because, but what reason is out there to not have a job right now other than COVID? Is that person around?
I'm just waiting.
You
I'm
have to be
waiting for
very,
the chat.
creative to lose your job, not COVID related. Oh my goodness.
It says like even if they lost it before the pandemic and the official state of emergency. So let's say, for an example, January.
Were you already on unemployment?
Yeah, they were not on unemployment already, and they're still unemployed currently.
Okay. Well, like I said, unfortunately, you need to apply tonight. So I'm going to tell you what to do. You apply as soon as you hang up from this phone call. You go online and apply. You're going to say that the reason you are applying is because you were working, and after you lost your job, you were unable to find a new job because everything was shut down due to the pandemic. Everything was shut down. You couldn't find another job. You were unable to work. That's the reason. So it is COVID related. Yes, you should have applied a long time ago. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We should have had this presentation 3 months ago. I feel bad because this is like, there's only 25 days left of that $600.
Well, hopefully now that it's been clarified, they'll apply.
Yes, apply.
We have another question about the appeal process. What happens when you appeal? I lost my job because of COVID and I applied for unemployment and I started receiving, but then they took it away. I appealed it, but I have not heard back.
Do you know the reason? I mean, there has to be an explanation. Look, as long as you appealed it within 30 days, they would have to give you an explanation. Typically, they would have scheduled a phone call, a meeting with you to try to a phone meeting for them to determine the appeal. But that's very strange that they would not have processed it again.
It says that they said I voluntarily left, but I did not.
Okay. You probably filled it out wrong. I hate to say this. I'm so sorry. People clicking the wrong button. They disqualify themselves by accident. There are a couple questions on there that are tricky. One of the questions is, are you looking for a job? People write no. You have to write yes, even though you're not really looking and there's no jobs out there. In order to be able to continue to qualify, you have to write yes. They ask you, there's questions on there that are tricky, and if you choose the wrong one, you automatically disqualify yourself. It says you voluntarily left when you didn't. Oh, it sounds like you clicked the wrong button. I'm sorry. It's very complicated. Some of these questions are tricky.
Off the top of your head, do you have any examples of wrong answers that people can put when applying, or what questions in particular are trickier than others?
I mean, like, for example, the first few questions. Okay. Well, for example, the first few questions that they ask you to certify, have you been unemployed? Yes. Are you looking for a job? That's one of the main ones. People write no. You have to write yes. They ask you, were you disabled? If you're sick and you can't work, you're considered disabled, but you have to choose no because you really are able to work, but because of COVID, you can't. So you have to think about all the reasons that go back to COVID. Has your job been shut down because of what reason? COVID. Okay, everything goes back to COVID. The thing is, they give you, before you start to certify, they give you the questions and the answers. They tell you, choose this answer. But people are rushing and they get nervous and they get anxious and they start clicking. They don't want to click the wrong thing. I understand. I get it. Just I would say, if things are not looking good, bring somebody in to help you. Bring somebody in to help.
And that somebody can be Waffle House?
Waffle House, it could be PAC. I know PAC, you guys are working with people, right, to help with unemployment?
At our center specifically, we don't have the capacity to do it, but if people do need assistance, they can always reach out to PAC and we will refer them to people outside, like Waffle House and other people. I know Northeast New Jersey Legal Services also does some good stuff too, so they can help with public benefits.
Okay.
So if there aren't any more questions, I think we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you, Jessica, so much for your time. I personally found it very helpful. I'm looking forward to my 1,200 next year, so I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Waffle House, so much for co-sponsoring this event. And guys, if you're watching and you really are confused or you have any additional questions, you can feel free to reach out to us. But you can also go on to wafflehouse.org. Their contact information is on there, and they can open a case for you and help you out. Don't, like Jessica was saying, don't wait, because the longer you wait, the more money you lose. So make sure you get on it as soon as you can. And wafflehouse.org is a good place to start if you're having any questions. Again, this program is made possible through funding from the New Jersey State Bar Foundation. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. And again, thank you, Jessica, so much for your time.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.